Hello and welcome. Good afternoon to the final hour of the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon. Last hour. This is it, man. By the way, we just got a $250 donation literally just seconds ago. So thank you for that. $1,200. Oh, I was way off. $1,200. Yeah, keep them coming. We got a goal to meet. So as you guys are coming off of work, make sure you make that donation. We got Team Maddie in here. They're coming to sit down, and they'll be answering your phone calls. As I get something in my eye at the wrong moment. All right, so if you want to call and make a donation, it's really easy to do. 608-784-KIDS. Again, 608-784-5437, or you can donate online at aroundrivercity.com. And like I mentioned, Team Maddie is out here right now. They're taking their places at the phone banks, so they'll be fielding your calls, and you'll be talking to them and donating lots of money. Speaking of Team Maddie, we have Maddie here with her family. Sarah and Greg are with her. So, Sarah, I guess the best place to begin for the story is where it all started. So, you had gotten pregnant, and it was a normal pregnancy, which is that's kind of being kind to it. There's really no such thing as a normal pregnancy. They all go kind of different, but there was no reason for alarm.
Correct.
During the pregnancy, and I guess sort of take it from there.
Yeah. So Maddie was born full term, and we thought like, hey, this is great. This is what you want. And she failed her newborn hearing screening, but as we learned, it wasn't a total big deal because that happens with fluid in their ears as a baby. So we still went home thinking
the first one.
Yeah, we think like, oh, it's no big deal. We have a healthy baby. She's eating. She's doing what she needs to do. Got her hearing finally tested for like the full gamut at about probably 6 weeks old, and that is when she failed that, and we found that she had hearing loss. And then you think, okay, she has hearing loss, we'll do hearing aids. That's that. It's a healthy kiddo.
Yeah, that's not super.
No, right. So you think like, that's fine. And then between 4 and 6 months, she started having seizures. And that's when we knew, obviously, something else is wrong.
Yeah.
Around that same time, too, she stopped developing. So she stopped making those developmental milestones. So she did roll over at 4 months, which is a normal thing for babies to do, but that's kind of where it stopped.
Yeah.
So her eating slowed down, her seizures sped up. And then she wasn't doing anything else motor-wise, and that is where we knew other things were going on for her.
Yeah. So you would gone to the hospital, and obviously things were you were probably really scared. I imagine at the moment.
Absolutely.
I would imagine a lot of sleepless nights.
Right. Yes.
And a lot of concern for the future. Like, what's if this is how it's progressed? It started with something that, it's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
They fail the first one. That happens all the time. And then okay, well, they actually do have hearing loss. And then it just kind of keeps spiraling around, and you have to be wondering what the next thing's going to be. Is there going to be more?
Right.
And has there been more?
Yeah, and so kind of it seemed like that opened up the box of like what is happening here. So then she had a full neurologic workup, and we found that she has intracranial calcification, which means she has calcium deposits in her brain. She has cerebral atrophy, so like the brain tissue is smaller, it's weakening.
Yeah.
And then she has microcephaly, which means she has a small brain. So those all indicate something else is going on, right? But we still don't know what that thing is. And so then over time, things have come up. So she used to eat orally, and now she's tube fed.
Mm-hmm.
She used to be able to just sit on a chair, with support. She's never sat normally, but now she needs to be in a full wheelchair. Other things for her have been, we discovered she has an immune system issue, and so that became apparent when she was 2, which was so strange that all of a sudden she has this immune disorder where she needs to have injections every week for that. Seizures have continued to be a problem, and then probably 4 to 5 years ago, she started having all the respiratory distress. And so I would say that our biggest problem now is chronic respiratory failure for her.
Yeah.
So to have a kid that started with just hearing loss to now we're here, it's just kind of mind-blowing that happens. But now that we're in the community, we can see that this does happen quite a bit. And so she's gone through total genetic workups and everything, and there's no answer for her, and it's all inconclusive. And so we now are able to accept that and just move forward and treat things as they come up. But in the moment when you're learning this, it's really traumatic to not know what's going on with your kid, then have new problems keep
Sometimes
popping up.
the uncertainty is worse than the actual thing it is, even if it's a bad thing. It's the uncertainty. You just want to know what it is so you can take whatever the next step is.
Right.
So,
right.
Let's talk about some of the things that Children's Miracle Network has done to help you guys out over the years.
Yeah. So CMN has helped with adaptive equipment. So Maddie has a wheelchair, and that's covered by insurance. But insurance only kind of gives you one thing. So she has a wheelchair. But so we wanted her to have a floor seat, which is something like a kid would sit on the floor. That's normal. But for her to sit on the floor, she needs extra equipment. So CMN has paid for that for her. Other things that CMN has helped with, she gets respite care. So CMN has paid for her respite care, and she's a kiddo that you couldn't just like ask the neighbor lady to pop over and watch her.
Yeah, this isn't like like I have a tortoise. All you do is feed him lettuce.
Right.
This isn't that.
This isn't that. And so she has respite care hours, so we can hire. Generally, ends up being like nursing students or early childhood education teachers.
It's got to be someone that at least has a working knowledge of what's going on.
Yes, and so CMN pays for respite. Other things are meal vouchers. So she's in the hospital a ton. We are here a lot at Gunderson. And we get the meal vouchers, which means that for $5 donation, families can get a ticket to go to the cafeteria and have your meal be paid for. And that's a really big deal because really she'll be here for 2 weeks at a time. And we don't leave. Like we are always here. And we have like wonderful support, of course, people behind us too. But it just gets expensive to eat out for every single meal when you're not working either.
Yeah,
so
and you think about, like that's something that we have repeated over and over throughout this entire Radiothon is meal vouchers, because that's one of the more common things.
Yeah.
Because like you were kind of getting at, it's expensive to constantly be eating out, and the thing is you kind of sort of have to, because with everything that you're going through, you don't have time to make a home cooked meal for yourself. Slave over a hot stove for a couple hours after everything that you've dealt with. You probably don't even think about it until like, hey, I'm kind of hungry. Oh, I haven't ate for 12 hours. So
that's absolutely what happens. And luckily the nurses here on 5th floor in Peds and then also in PICU, they're like, hey, you haven't eaten, take this, go. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. And I should do that. And so it's just people take care of you in that way. Yeah,
it's almost like, if nothing else, just a reminder to, hey, take care of you too. It's not just Maddie, although a lot of it obviously is. And we definitely want to keep Team Maddie busy over here answering phone calls. It looks like they're all pretty busy right now, and I definitely like what I see. So if we want to keep adding to that, give us a call, 608-784-KIDS. Again, 608-784-5437, or you can donate online at aroundrivercity.com. So Sarah, we've been talking a lot about some of the more common things like the meal vouchers. What are some of the more abnormal things that Children's Miracle Network has helped you out with?
So another, one common thing left would just be the gas cards. So something that happened to us, and I'm finding has happened to other people, is we're in the ER with Maddie. It's 2 a.m, because that's when those things happen. And all of a sudden she's getting worse. You have to go by ambulance. You have to go somewhere else. And so she would go by ambulance to UW-Madison or to the Twin Cities, depending on the situation. And
the Twin Cities is not far. Is not that close. It's not.
Right.
It's a bit of a hike over there.
And so we're in the parent fog of you've been up all night, your kid's really sick, and it's the same thing where people take care of you. And so we're going out the door to jump in our car to follow behind the ambulance, and someone's going, here, take this gas card. It's from CMN, and you didn't ask. It just appears.
It just appears out of thin air, really.
Yeah, so that's one thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention. As far as more abstract things that CMN covers, Maddie is part of the palliative care program here at Children's Miracle Network.
I saw that on my notes here. I was curious as to what that was.
So she's been in that since her hero year when it was a pilot program at the time, and now it's really evolved, and it's a really big deal, and it's wonderful. But what palliative care is it allows for you to meet with your doctors and a social worker, someone from your religious upbringing if that's important to you, and a specialty nurse in a conference room style, not stressful, not in the height of an illness, but you meet and you talk about what are your goals for your child, what are you hoping will you'll accomplish with her, and then what things do you not want for your child. And so it's been just critical for Maddie to have this, and it's wonderful because CMN pays for those appointments. And the reason that's so important, if you think of like 6 medical professionals billing out at an hour,
Ugh.
it's expensive.
I'm trying to not think about that, actually.
Yeah, right. So even though we have insurance, that's a really expensive appointment to have all those folks sitting there.
Yeah.
And so we don't get a bill. That doesn't even go to your insurance. It's just paid through CMN.
It's just paid through. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah. And it helps too because she'll be in the hospital a lot, like I mentioned, and they help you kind of problem solve, like what went well for you the last time, what's not going well. Because unfortunately for Maddie, we know that this isn't going to get better. This is going to continue to be kind of our way of life. But if there's ways to make little pieces like more pleasant for us and just make our family a little better supported, that's what we hope for.
If there's anything that can make you feel just a little bit normal.
Yeah, absolutely. And most people go to the hospital maybe once in their life, and it's like it might not have gone well, but you can move past it. It'll never happen to you again. For us, it's going to keep happening.
Yeah.
So if we can figure out ways to have things go better, and just for the hospital staff to understand who we are as parents and who we are. We have other kids, and what does that mean for our family, and what's good for us, what's good for Maddie, what do we want her to do? So it's so important. Palliative care is amazing.
And while not neglecting your other kids too.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you have to still maintain your family and give the rest of your kids the same love.
Yes, absolutely.
And, so I understand that you actually sit on Gunderson's Pediatric Parent Advisory Board. You want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah.
She deserves a round of there we go.
Thank you. That's been really awesome. So I have a lot to say about kids with medical needs, and I have a lot to say about Gunderson as a hospital because we're here so much, like I already mentioned. And so being on the pediatric board has been helpful because I feel like I have a place to say, like, this could get better, and this is great. Like, these pieces, here's how we could improve it, because lots of other families will be impacted by things that we are able to share at those meetings. It's helped me get to know other families, but it's also helped me kind of feel like more purpose in our experiences. And since Maddie's also hospitalized at other children's hospitals in the area when like her care gets too complex for here, we have those experiences to draw on and say, actually at this other children's hospital, they're doing it this way, and it really helps parents.
Yeah.
And those pieces have been so helpful. And so I really love being on that board now.
So it's almost kind of helpful for you to be helpful to other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you actually learn more things yourself. Like you're teaching other people about what's going on, but you're also taking in and learning things too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes you feel like a little bit more purpose, because sometimes it can be mundane, just like we take care of Maddie, we meet her needs, she gets pneumonia again, we're back in the hospital, we do it all again.
You're alive, but you're not really living.
Yeah, and so now it's great to just pass that on of like, hey, this helped us, maybe it'll help you, and it's good. It's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
I understand Maddie was a bridesmaid this summer.
Yes, she was.
Who was the bride? Who was the bride and groom?
They're listening right now, but it's Hannah and Scott.
Congratulations, Hannah and Scott.
Hannah started out as a nursing student that worked for us. She answered one of my ads that I had emailed the Viterbo nursing program saying, hey, I have this kiddo with these medical needs.
Oh, so this wasn't for a family member. This was somebody
she's
that
like our family now.
Well,
but
family now, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she started out as a nursing student that responded to my ad, ended up caring for Maddie for years. Now she's a nurse at UW-Madison, and she's just part of us. And so, yeah, Maddie was a bridesmaid in her wedding. And what was so funny is we always worry, will she stay awake or will she just sleep? Will she get sick and we'll have to cancel? She was just on the whole weekend. She was like bright-eyed, smiling. So we now kind of know that Maddie likes that lifestyle of like the hair, the makeup, the spotlight.
The makeup, a little bit of spotlight. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so she was very into that.
Well, that's good. I bet she was the prettiest bridesmaid.
Oh my gosh, and everyone just it was just special. Everyone made it really special for her. But it's been great to have those people in our kind of lives that just celebrate her for who she is. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's like I said, it's about living, not just staying alive,
absolutely.
So again, if you want to help Maddie and her family, you'll be talking to them. Team Maddie is back here taking phone calls. They are working like mad. I almost wanted to make some noise for me, but they're so busy right. Yeah, I was gonna say, can we make a little bit? There we go. Yeah. They're busy right now, so I was like, let's kind of keep it down. But let's keep them busy, though, and keep those phones ringing. 608-784-KIDS. Again, 608-784-5437, or you can donate online at aroundrivercity.com. So, Sarah, Greg, Maddie, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for telling us about your story.
Yes.
And, hey, we're going to try to do some more great things for not just your family, but for everybody's family as well. So
Thank you so much.
thank you for being here for us and telling our listeners about some of the things that you go through and educating people, because that's what this is about. It's not just about getting the money. It's about educating people about what's going on. So, again, the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon is going to continue. We go until 6 o'clock, so we only got about 45 minutes left in the day. So keep them numbers going. Again, 784-KIDS, 784-5437, or donate online at aroundrivercity.com. This is the Children's Miracle Network Radiothon. I'm Bags from Midwest Family.